The PS4 is home to over 360 delisted games, and while there's definitely some underrated gems on that list, there's also a lot of terrible, low-effort cash grabs that were silently taken off the PlayStation Store in the hopes that nobody would really notice. Well, here I am, 2 platinum, 3 of the worst ones I could find. Were these games that bad they deserve to be taken off the PlayStation Store forever, or were the developers just pulling the plug a little bit too soon? This is exploring delisted games. When it comes to an amazing bad game, nobody does it better than Game Mill Entertainment. Their constant flow of random big IP games that are just shit is stupidly impressive. So it probably doesn't surprise you that back in 2019, they partnered with NBC to create a tie-in game to the infamous American TV show, American Ninja Warrior. Straight away, people complained about the terrible graphics, the $40 price point, and it even went as far as PlayStation themselves turning off the comments on the trailer to avoid the flood of hate this game was receiving. And this review from the rare viewer sums up the game exceptionally well. The character doesn't move like a human being. There were times where I'd simply fall from lack of stamina and my character would fly backwards as if they'd been shot. If I had taken $40 out of my wallet, set them on fire and dropped them in a puddle, that would have been a better use of my money, and it would have looked much nicer than the crap they smeared on my screen and called a video game. So, let's see what kind of terrible experience Game Mill have cooked up this time. You might experience unexpected behavior. Okay. Jumping into the game, we're asked to create our character. We're presented with a set of names, occupations, and a few other things that have no impact on the game whatsoever and barely get referenced from this point on. So I chose the weirdest name I could. Said I worked as a superhero. Occupation superhero. And at age 60, Sylvanus Berquist was born. Of course, you gotta run the pink. The Satiire pink. Can't even customize my character. That's how you know we're in for a flipping treat, mate. Selecting any hat for some reason causes the game to crash. Okay, we're back. So I just can't pick a hat then. I don't really know how you create an entire game with the biggest weakness being a hat, but it was not looking good for the trophy collector. But we need to buy 10 accessories with the cheapest option, of course, being the hats. My first character, now we're locked in. If the game's buggy, if the game's unattainable, it is too late. I try my best to go into these games with an open mind, so I didn't really know what to expect here. Thankfully, the game shows us everything there is to do in about 5 seconds. Each button is A. Jump. The buttons at the bottom are all we can press for the next 6 hours. Every jump, every swing, every action is as simple as pressing X, square, or maybe circle if they're feeling fancy. The colored ring around the button lets you know if you've pressed too early or right on time, but I'm pretty sure it's just a visual thing to make the player believe they're good at the game. If you miss the button or the game fails to register your input, which happens a lot by the way, the ring goes red and you fall into the water. What is this? The stamina bar in the top left corner slowly depletes as you go through the level. The only way to keep on top of this is to do a little boogie down. Yippee! Oh, hit the fucking moves. First steps. With the tutorial over, you might be wondering what there actually is to do in this game, and thankfully, the devs chucked in a total of 54 words to sum it up perfectly. American Ninja Warrior puts you in the shoes of an aspiring, well, ninja warrior. Each character has a total of 5 seasons before they retire, and within these seasons are a mix of training days, minor events, qualifiers, city nationals, and nationals, with the ultimate challenge at the end being, of course, Mount Midoriyama, the true test of Ninja Warrior, and a chance to become a champion of the show. All of this is wrapped up in a few rectangles and squares on the screen that looks pretty similar to my cider homework in year 9. The start of season 1, we're given a chance to skip the entire day or upgrade a few stats by using it as a training day. I thought this was an obvious answer until I entered the training day and was smacked in the face by the tutorial level once again. The paint on the wall is the same, the scenery outside still has about 5 trees, and the obstacles we're doing are just as boring, if not the exact same ones. To immediately within the first 10 minutes, put your middle finger up to anyone that has paid for this game, is insane, and I can't help but sit here and be kind of impressed. Like, this game went through multiple checks from GameMill to NBC to whoever else worked on this beautiful product, and still, this is what they all agreed was worth actual money. If you do skip these training days, you don't get any skill points, and for the trophy focused, we need to max out a single one. So for now, I was stuck in tutorial hell. God forbid I gotta play the fucking game, bro. There's one more way to skip these training days by purchasing a workout. You'd assume these workouts would show a cutscene of our character working out, maybe hitting a new PR on the bench. But all we get is this. Oh, is that it? We don't even get to see what you just paid to get 5 strength. And then the day skips. Okay. I don't know what that trophy is for. We're cooking though. I don't know what I'm doing, low-key. I'm just fucking pressing buttons. It was time to see what the minor events were all about. Would these once again be in the tutorial level, or would we finally see something new after 30 minutes of mindless side-scrolling slop?
You can see him analyzing the obstacle, breaking down what it's going to take.
Well. How the turntables...
The Game Mill gods decided it was finally time to change things up a bit, and by a bit, I mean the absolute bare minimum. The crowd in the background is full of duplicated player models with half of them wearing the same yellow t-shirt. The obstacles are pretty much ripped from the tutorial, and every time you fail, the game plays the same generic reactions from the announcers in the booth. Strip away the new level visually, and at its core, we're once again playing the tutorial. The whole point of Ninja Warrior is that it's meant to be hard. Becoming a champion is a feat only 19 people have achieved worldwide since the show started in 1999. To take that and dumb it down into this button spam mess with prompts that barely even work. What do you mean? And swings that just fling you halfway across the map.
Focus, more speed.
Why even? That's not even my fault. Is a crazy way to adapt this series. It's low-key cut, man. Like, what match player? Grown ass man playing fucking Ninja Warrior. Oh! What am I doing, bro? 500 button presses later, we were finally at the Nationals. Given that these are based in LA, they've chucked a few palm trees in the background to act like we're in a different location while still reusing the same course and obstacles from the rest of the game. Oh, just fuck off, mate. With 3 nationals standing in the way of Mount Midoriyama, it's no surprise that the game starts to increase in difficulty, not because they changed anything significant, but because the game is just shit. Up until this point, the game allowed you to fail 3 times on any minor event and still move forward. This was great because the buttons respond whenever they want, and most of the time, the fail is nothing to do with you. Going into the nationals though, failing 3 times ends the season and forces you to restart, which punishes the player regardless of how good they are at pressing buttons. This obstacle, by the way, is a surprise one they added right at the end for no fucking reason. It never shows up in any of the training days or minor events, which are literally there to prepare you for the nationals. I don't know what to do with that. I actually have no clue what it means. The other 2 nationals also have new obstacles as well, which means even if you did make it through National 1 without failing, you're then faced with the exact same situation again 2 more times. And this really started to wear me down. Oh my days. And I literally got 1 chance at the last one. That was... Nah, actually, it's actually fuming me now. The constant waste of time, the bullshit button prompts, and this stupid dance you have to do to regain stamina slowly began making me feel trapped inside this little cage I built myself. And what I didn't realize at the time was that on top of everything else, the devs also chucked in 3 trophies that require you to beat each national in under 2 minutes. So not only are you wasting 20 minutes a season to be messed over by a new obstacle, you're now also wasting 20 minutes a season to have 1 attempt at a stupid time limit, or else you're back to square 1. On one of my many training days, I figured out that you can choose which obstacles you train on, which would have been great to know about 2 hours ago, except for the fact they've locked the national specific obstacles behind a 5k paywall. The only way to get $15,000 without wasting an insane amount of time going from season to season is to beat the nationals and then beat Mount Midoriyama, which kind of just feels like that one scene from Monsters vs. Aliens. Our good friend Derek here is all of a sudden rocking the bone conduction headphones from Raycon, and that's because they were kind enough to sponsor this video. Now, I've personally been using these bone conduction headphones for a lot longer than it seems. I use them for my runs, for my walks, and to be honest, anytime I'm doing something that requires both music and the outside world to be heard, I'm taking these headphones along with me. They work by sending sound vibrations through your bones, leaving your ears open and allowing you to listen to the mariahs while also being aware of traffic or conversations with someone close by. With 13 hours of battery life and a water-resistant IP68 rating, these bone conduction headphones are good for any weather and honestly any activity. The best part of all of this is that Raycon gives a 30-day happiness guarantee, allowing you to try these headphones for yourself and decide personally whether you're satisfied with your purchase. If you want to grab yourself a pair of these bone conduction headphones, you can get 20% off by using the link in the description, going to buyraycon.com/satirebc, or just by scanning the QR code on the screen. Thank you as always to Raycon for supporting the channel, and let's get back to some American Ninja Warrior. In better news for you dopamine fans out there, the game was kind enough to finally reward a trophy for creating 5 custom courses. And another one for maxing out my strength stat. Okay, this should be a trophy. Yes, focused. Okay, the trophy guy said that was a glitch, so glad that one was not glitched for me. Heading into the final attempt of Sylvanus' career, I was holding out hope for a miracle. If somehow all the stars aligned and the game just worked, maybe there would be a chance at finishing this platinum without starting a new character. And well, I guess I asked for a bit too much. Oh my days. It's just not even my fault. Like, it is actually just pissing me off. What do you mean? Time to fail this, and then fail the last, like, what's this been, like 3 hours of my life? 2.5? Oh, okay. For absolutely no reason if I don't get this right now.
With the shot of becoming an American Ninja Warrior champion.
Oh my god! Like, how high do you want me to be? Like, what do you want me to do? Gosh, I can't do this. I really can't. Yeah, go away, man. I took a break after this to touch grass and remind myself that life is worth more than Game Mill's forgotten cash grab. When I came back, I created the next 2-hour snooze fest, Stuart Torero, and headed into the first season, hoping that this time the game would actually work. Oh my 17 minutes that took me, by the way. I just failed again on the last thing. It's just not even a skill issue because it doesn't work. It was very clear that nothing was going to change. Ninja Warrior is just a broken experience that I happened to stumble across while searching for delisted games to play. I could have picked any of the 360 games on that list, and yet here I am playing one of the worst ones voluntarily. But surely other people have met the same fate. Someone, somewhere, has to know a method to get this done. And what I found was nothing short of a golden scar. I found a forum post by Koala Bear 6969 who has said there is a frame rate issue on PS5. You move far quicker than the game thinks you should be able to, and a lot of the time you'll fly off the screen, which has happened numerous times to me. And they basically said they have to go onto PS4 and do it again on PS4, and then it was fine. So I spent £6.99 on PS Plus, got out the goated Death Stranding PS4, and put Koala Bear's theory to the test. Alright, we're on the PS4 now. Quality might dip a little bit, I guess. I think I've managed to transfer my save from the PS5 to here, though. It does feel a tiny bit slower, to be fair. If it is true that the game was running on, like, faster FPS, then it makes sense why all these buttons were kind of like fucking up. The button presses were responding much better. My character stopped glitching on invisible walls and falling out of swings for no real reason, and it became clear that if anything was going to get me past National 1's final obstacle, it was going to be this switch from the PS5 to the PS4.
Let's see what he's got.
Like here, it's going to be a specific height that I need to be.
Oh!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Yo! Let's go! Yes! Okay, I mean, that actually worked. I did nothing different than what I did before, so low-key, maybe it was the console. All right, lock in. Now we're in uncharted territory right now. I continued with this run into National 2, and although there were a few hiccups with the salmon ladder, eventually made it to the end with no real issues.
Just like that.
Oh, I just missed it. I just missed the 2 minutes. No way. That wasn't bad though. I messed up like a lot as well on that. And that 2 minutes is low-key generous for that. National 3 though didn't go down so well.
Using up a lot of
Why am I
energy
stuck?
here.
Like, see what I mean? Like, what was that? I already did the move, bro. This is, once again, a brand new obstacle, and chucking in a bunch of buttons with directional up and down presses is the most confusing, pointless thing you could do to throw the player off at the very last moment. So I decided to play Game Mill at their own game. That £6.99 I spent on PS Plus was specifically to save Scum these Nationals if all other options were exhausted. After backing up my save, I took a few attempts at National 2 before beating it in under 3 minutes. That's the thing now, we absolutely smashed this. No way! Trophy! Nice, double time. And getting to the end of National 3 felt like witnessing something that was never meant to happen. Yes! Yes! Let's go! The only thing left to complete this season was, of course, Mount Midoriyama. As mentioned before, this is one of the hardest things to get to in the show, and actually beating it is basically impossible. So you can imagine my face when I booted it up for the first time and was met with nothing more than 4 repeated button presses as my character climbed to the top. The mountain top. What a flipping game. Host the show as well. Terrible, terrible experience. With the first seasonal win secured, we now had money in the bank for the first time ever, and this allowed us to grab a few trophies. I purchased 10 hats for the trophy collector, which surprisingly worked now that we were on the PS4. There we go, collector. Purchased 5 costumes. Nice, for the fans. Let's get the clown fit on then. Help! Help me! And also 5 celebrations. Okay, good times. But then I ran out of money and was faced with doing the one thing I never wanted to do again, beating another season. Insane drip. Best thing about this game. Can't lie, I'm safe scumming these final ones as well. I want to get out of this game so bad. Let me out. And now it's crashed. Sick. I went on to beat the Nationals with a few save scums, and after pressing the same 4 buttons to climb Mount Midoriyama, finished the season off with another 25k secured. This allowed me to buy all the obstacles locked behind the paywall. There you go, try something new. And use them to create a custom course. Start a course. The remaining trophies were extremely easy and kind of a smack in the face considering how hard it was with the GOAT Sylvanus Berquist. Stay Dry requires you to complete 5 quick play courses without failing. I feel like the easiest thing on there of all time. Climb the Ladder requires you to do pretty much the same thing but in ranked. Nice. Climb the ladder. And then Patient and Precise requires you to play 5 training courses. One single trophy stood in the way of never touching this game again, and all I had to do was create 2 more characters. If I stick a costume on him, do you reckon I got it? Oh, I do. No way. Could bro like a cowboy outfit. Alright, final character. Final time probably ever seen this game in my life. What kind of outfit we saying? It's better than the firefighter outfit. It's got to be it, right? Yes! Give me that platinum! American Ninja Warrior. Finally! I think we can all agree that American Ninja Warrior deserved to be delisted, and I would even go as far as to say that it should have never been made in the first place. Its sole purpose is to force the player into endless seasons so that you can rack up a few hours of playtime and feel the $40 price tag was worth the time you spent on it. The year 2000 was a special year for anyone alive to see it. Not only was it the start of a brand new millennium, but it was also a big year for anyone interested in this little guy right here. Spider-Man 2000 was the first 3D Spider-Man game, and while we take it for granted now, this was the first time that anyone has seen their favorite comic book hero swinging about and dealing damage in such an immersive way. It might surprise you then that this game was made by none other than Activision themselves, the same Activision that 14 years later would pump out the worst Spider-Man game ever made to cash in on the hype of Amazing Spider-Man 2. And the reception was terrible. Scoring a 49 on Metacritic, one person said, "Unwatchable piece of garbage right off the bat. Reminds me of Iron Man 2, comically bad, pun intended." And another person stating, "Absolute shit like all Activision games. Plot is shit, graphics suck, dialogue and cutscenes are just ridiculous. $60 for this, ha ha ha, suck my dick." Were people setting their standards too high going into the 8th generation, or is this game actually the worst thing ever made? Let's find out. We're playing Spider-Man. How bad could this really be? I mean, it's made by Activision, so there's always that. But it's Spider-Man. We start the game as the GOAT Peter Parker, drinking some chalky milk while the store behind us gets robbed.
Hey kid, a little help?
Not my problem.
No, don't tell me that's Andrew Garfield, man. Who is that? Am I tripping, or does it not look like GTA 4, like the bit near Roman's like garage? Maybe I'm just dumb, but I was under the assumption going into this that the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game was a direct tie-in to the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie. I mean, the cover art on the case is literally Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, so why are we witnessing the death of Uncle Ben like this didn't happen in the first movie?
No! Uncle Ben! No! No! Call an ambulance! Somebody help! Uncle Ben! Uncle Ben, hang on! Uncle Ben! Come on! No! Come on!
We're shown a slideshow cutscene that is mandatory for any game below a 50 on Metacritic before getting our first look at the swinging in this game. If it's bad, we're in for a pretty terrible experience. But if somehow it's actually good, please let swinging be good. Please let swinging be good. I mean, it's not terrible. This could have been worse, I think. I don't know, actually, this is pretty bad. Controlling which arm you use with the triggers is a nice feature, but my biggest issue here is the camera and how slow you swing. And I understand that it's basically a PS3 game, but look at what Web of Shadows did 6 years before this. Goofy ass run, bro. Black Cat also makes a special appearance here, which is kind of random, but we'll let it slide to get our first taste of the combat. If it's bad, we're in for a... No, I'm joking. Of course it is bad. The combat is terrible. You attack with square and dodge with triangle. There's no combos, and the only real motivation to finish these sections in the first place is because you have no other choice to progress the story. After taking out all the enemies, we interrogate this one guy with that super expressive arm thing Andrew Garfield does in the movies.
You say? Pretty cush.
What is this? I feel like I'm really close to the character as well. I don't know if that's just me, but it feels like I'm like riding his back or something. And find out the guy that killed Uncle Ben is selling weapons to someone called Herman Schultz. This sends us on a wild goose chase as we try and hunt down Schultz by pressing square and triangle. I wonder if this was had like a time limit to be pushed out in, and that's why the font is a bit shit. I mean, that's why the game must be shit in general, because it was just crunch time in the Activision office, like it always is. From 2010 to 2014, Beenox released 4 Spider-Man games that progressively got worse over time. Shattered Dimensions is still considered to be one of the best Spider-Man entries and easily the best on PS3. Edge of Time took that, didn't really add much to it, and released a single year after to mixed reviews. Activision then chucked them into the first Amazing Spider-Man game, which again only had a year of development. Somehow Beenox escaped this, and that was enough for Activision to send them back once again for Amazing Spider-Man 2. You can imagine the burnout, lack of creative freedom, and the harsh deadlines Beenox faced over these 4 years. I also found out that Activision lost their rights to the Spider-Man IP after this game, which is definitely deserved, and without it, we would have never seen Insomniac's Spider-Man.
Ah, you must be Schultz. Your goon said you were ugly, but whoa! He was being charitable.
What is he doing? I was just avoiding that. What is that? I mean, there's copying Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and then there's making Spider-Man so expressive that he may as well be creating biker TikToks. Whoa.
Who's the man in the picture, huh?
Hi, bro.
I think I got his latest number here in my phone.
Wait, don't! Stupid! I was so desperate for answers, I let him play me like an amateur.
Gosh darn it, dude. Schultz escapes, and that's when we're chucked into the world of Manhattan. We're shown the skill tree, more of the terrible UI, and then we're free to roam the map. But roaming isn't really something you want to be doing. Wall running is super slow, the camera is genuinely terrible, and it only takes like one filler mission before we're introduced to the heroic events. In other words, the death of the open world. If you've played Insomniac Spider-Man, you'll be pretty familiar with the random petty crimes that show up in the world from time to time. These are more or less optional, and you can spend the entire game somewhat ignoring them unless you want to go for the platinum. Here though, missing a single crime brings down your reputation, destroying your public image, and putting a target on your head for the task force to take you out. You might be sitting there thinking this sounds like quite a cool feature, but when these crimes show up constantly in between missions and hunting for collectibles, the last thing you want to be doing is working a full-time job against crime when you're literally sat here playing a video game. It also doesn't help that these crimes are basically the same thing every time. You want to save people from a burning building? Great. You want to save people from another burning building? Great. You want to save people from the exact same burning building again? Like, why force such a game-changing feature on the player just to half-ass it in this way? Oh, Stan Lee, no way.
Oh boy, much obliged, Spidey.
Anytime, Stan.
Hey, how'd you like me to call the Daily Bugle and tell them that Jameson is full of it?
I'm not gonna stop you. So long.
Stan Lee has his own comic book shop, which I believe is one of his more larger roles inside of a video game. His shop is home to a bunch of concept art, collectible statues, and an arcade machine in the corner that becomes one of the worst things about this game a little bit later.
Yeah, way, and I'm like, nuh-uh, and she's all like, yeah-ha, it's so true.
Hey, what's that?
Stop! Come on!
Alright, bro, you're literally Spider-Man. How have you let him get away?
Hostage. Not good. No way am I letting...
Okay, what the fuck? I believe they tried to make this look like the guy from the movie, but if you've watched the movie, then you'll know that we never get a satisfying ending to this story arc. Well, until now.
God.
No. All these bin bags just fell from the sky. The person that spawned these bin bags in from the sky goes by the initials CK.
Perfection.
Perfection. And this CK is the person we spend the entire game trying to find.
Aunt May's gonna hear about this sooner or later. And I don't want her to be alone when she does.
The swing is terrible. It does not flow nice at all. He like jumps every single time he shoots his web. I'm just running. What am I doing?
Find another way.
What the fuck is going on?
The guy who killed Uncle Ben is gone. You'd think that would bring me some peace.
Aunt May's house is where we can change suits, replay missions, and hit a little doom scroll on the bed. The only way to access this is to jump on a specific train to teleport home, which is a bit long if all you're trying to do is change your suit. There's 13 suits to unlock in the game, and most of them are earned through different side quests and collectibles around the map. The thing that makes this experience terrible though is the trophy Ultimate Spider-Man, as you're required to fully upgrade every single one, which is a process that takes almost as long as the game itself. For now though, I picked this homemade suit and went down to see Aunt May.
Due to the letters and the horrific nature of the crimes, authorities are calling this man the Carnage Killer. Anyone with information should call the police immediately. This is Whitney Chang for the Daily Bugle News Network.
But at least it's finally over. The man who took Ben from us won't ever hurt anyone again.
Aunt May, the truth is, I'm glad he's dead. I know that's wrong.
You're not glad this Carnage person is out there murdering, are you? You want him taken off the streets, don't you?
Yes.
It's pretty obvious that Carnage Killer is none other than Carnage. To spoil this reveal within the first hour of the game is quite possibly the worst story decision they could have made, as it completely ruins the build-up to the killer's reveal later on. In other news, Whitney Chang is teleported from the street to the top of this building. Why is she just on a building? What? To let us know that Herman Schultz is holding everyone inside the building at gunpoint. So while they're all trapped inside the building, I chose to swing about the map, grabbing as many comic books as I could find. 14 main missions and I'm already 3 in. 300 comic book pages. Are you joking? Oh my god. With 285 needed for this trophy, it's a major lock-in session to get this done. There's no guides online as I'm pretty sure they spawn it in randomly. So the only way to do this is to literally swing up and down the map over and over again. I have been flying around this map trying to find as many comic books as I can. I've kind of cleared a decent amount and I'm only at 105 or 300. So like in between all of these crevices and shit, there's just comic book pages everywhere. It felt like a never-ending task with no finish line in sight. How much longer could I realistically keep wasting time on a game that didn't even take a few minutes to mark these collectibles on the minimap? But inside this stupid cage that I voluntarily trapped myself in was the realization that the web zip mechanic in the game actually isn't that bad.
Don't make it easy, no. Wish I could read it for you. Give me a reason to go every time I want to know.
Oh, like, what do you mean? Bro, why does there no like TikTok edits about this game? Oh, fuck off. Why Beanox specifically made this one feature so good, we will never know. But it made flying about grabbing these remaining comics a walk in the park. That was until I started the next mission.
You're Mr. Spider-Man.
Just Spider-Man. Mr. Spider-Man was my father. What's your name?
Max. Max Dillon.
If you've watched the films, then you'll know that this is Electro. So while they're kind of following the film again, this is pretty much our 4th villain in the game. Like, how many more can they add here?
Say hello to the seismic harness construction resource, or as I like to call it, the shocker!
Oh shit, first boss. For a first boss, this is okay, but it's not really anything to write home about. The gameplay loop consists of running away whenever Shocker charges up a seismic blast, and then getting a few cheap shots in before doing it all over again. The second phase of this fight is basically the same thing, but with the hard task of pulling these pillars down with a single button press. Oh! Get fucked. Shocking. First trophy. Finally.
So, you broke in here for a power-up?
Absolutely. Guns won't do it anymore. Huh? Everybody wants an ace that the others don't have. The kind of fighter power that you can fight an army with.
And I bet they don't care who gets caught in a crossfire.
Okay. We end up webbing Shocker to the floor and stealing his seismic blast for our own use instead. Because of course the villains can't have these cool gadgets, but we can collect them all like Infinity Stones and still be the good guy.
You know, as much as I made fun of these things, they're pretty clever. I could get this kind of kinetic energy into my webbing.
Now who's the thief, huh?
Shotgun.
You know Oscorp, but you might not know me. I'm Harry Osborn. Now today, I'm announcing a joint venture with a man who, like me, recently returned to the city where he was born and wants to help. Wilson Fisk.
To stop their city from being blown to pieces over vigilantes like Shocker and Spider-Man, they're introducing the task force I spoke about earlier, a privately funded group that flies about the city dealing with, well, pretty much just dealing with Spider-Man. This is very clearly a targeted move, but more than that, it's a way for Fisk and Harry to control Manhattan and essentially become the police presence in the area. And this is where we see the story start to pick up past Uncle Ben's death. I say story, but it is essentially the biggest nothing burger you will ever lay your eyes upon, and we can start it by being killed in free roam. Can't lie though, this is actually kind of fucking long. Actually getting killed in free roam, yeah. Like, what actually is this? Let me hunt my fucking collectibles, man.
Yes, the complete
Trophy. Before diving headfirst into this incredible story, I grabbed a few Black Cat audio logs and saved enough civilians to max out my heroic level. Amazing Spider-Man 2's story is essentially one big cameo fest. We've had Shocker, Black Cat, probably Carnage, Fisk, Harry Osborn, and now we can add another name to that list.
What the? I can help you? Okay, Mr. Craven the Hunter.
What confuses me the most here is that you're creating a game with the intention of movie fans picking it up on release. Yet those movie fans probably have no clue who Kraven, Shocker, Black Cat, or Fisk are. And I know that because I was that movie fan. In 2014, I would have been so lost playing this game after watching the movie with literally 2 villains in it. What's even worse is that taking out these villains gives us nothing in return. Like, we beat Shocker, cool, but what happens after that? Was he arrested? Is he still underground, webbed to the floor? Is he dead? Like, what even is the point in bringing him into the game if we take him out and then move on to the next villain like it never even happened?
My name is Sergei Kravenov. Men call me Kraven the Hunter. You may find me here.
Instead of meeting Kraven as Spider-Man, we get access to his penthouse because J. Jonah Jameson wants a picture for the Daily Bugle. How this doesn't raise a single ounce of suspicion, we'll never know. But after a bit of back and forth, Kraven invites us up to his secret trophy room where it turns out he's taxidermied a few of Spider-Man's previous enemies.
I thought Spider-Man captured them.
An inadequate solution. They escaped.
So you killed them?
To save the lives of their victims, yes.
From this point on, the story kind of just falls apart. We get a call from Black Cat and Peter acts all confused, questioning how she's calling him while she's in jail, even though we literally just saw her like 2 minutes ago.
I heard you were back in jail. Listen, if you're calling to tease me about breaking out...
I'm insulted. I can think of a lot more fun things to tease you about.
Dear basketball.
Why don't we chase each other out of town,
Bye, Felicia.
We meet Kraven as Spider-Man within the same day, raising no questions on the fact we sound the exact same as a kid that took pictures in his house 3 hours ago. We then head to this hideout to try and find the Carnage Killer's next target, only to find the Miles Morales suit, because why would there not be a one-of-one Spider-Man suit in a random enemy hideout?
Next up is a flyer for an anti-crime fundraiser hosted by Wilson Fisk. I think they're gonna try and kill him there.
The fundraiser is tonight. They will have put their plan into action already. You must go to the location and stop them.
We use Peter's press pass to enter this club, so for a fact, Carnage has seen us go from Spider-Man to Peter to Spider-Man to Peter again, all within the span of a single day, and still hasn't clocked onto the fact we're the same person. Yo, it's the man himself. Insert into the Spider-Verse meme. So even Fisk isn't in the movie either, I don't think. It just feels like a big collection of the known Spider-Man enemies, do you know what I mean? There doesn't really seem to be any connection or for any reason as to why they're all in the game so far anyway. It's just like, oh, how many can we slap in there to sell the game? Fisk believes that Spider-Man is allowing the Carnage Killer to roam free because he hasn't been caught yet. So naturally, the next thing Spider-Man does is go looking for him. We interrogate this one guy who gets off extremely easily, and could have honestly been the guy murdering innocent civilians.
If you can prove you weren't in the city when the Carnage Killer struck, I'll let you go.
No problem. I was in San Diego all last week, at a convention.
That's the ambulance I called.
What, that's just enough proof, yeah. And then we run into the man himself.
Please, dude, I didn't have anything to do with that drive-by. I was just a wheelman.
Wheelman? Who saw all those people die?
Yeah.
Oh, you admit it? Good. Now you're going to tell me all about it. Then, you're going to give me answers. The spider. I'm a big fan of the look, but your execution? Boring. You know, real spiders liquefy their prey from the inside. You should think about it.
Considering this fight is what the entire game has been building up to, it is very underwhelming. Cassidy spends the entire fight begging for Spider-Man to kill him, but actually dealing any damage softlocks your character and pauses the fight. Defeat Cletus, what a fucking name, bro.
I know the truth. In your darkest moments, you wish you were strong enough to be like me.
What is this? Why am I just letting him speak? It just stops and I get softlocked.
Go ahead. Kill me.
What is this? Is it over? Facts. That's what I'm asking myself. Cassidy's sent to Ravencroft, where they'll test him with the symbiote to become Carnage. We already know that because they spoiled it within the first hour of the game. But what I've since found out is that the Carnage Killer nickname is completely unique to this game. Since the comic started in 1962, Cassidy has never once been called the Carnage Killer except right here, which means that for some reason they actively chose to spoil the reveal of Carnage themselves, and I honestly don't even know what to do with that information.
Just a heads up. My sources tell me the task force is actively targeting you. Be careful.
Now we have a permanent wanted level, and no matter how many petty crimes we do, the task force will still come after us. You probably sat there thinking this is coming across as some kind of late game situation, and well, you would be right. The story is insanely short at just 14 missions, and it feels as though nothing is truly progressing and stuff is just happening. A good example of this is like scrolling Instagram Reels, because every mission is like a new dopamine hit, followed by the fact that we have essentially just wasted our time. And it just so happens that the next mission is a perfect example of this, as after grabbing the remaining Black Cat audio logs, this is a trophy anyway, that's all Felicia audio logs, I think.
I mean, yeah, I meant work with me.
Oh no, it's here. Here's the other one. Nice, love her. I was gonna say, fuck. We run into Black Cat herself and get into a boss fight with no prior issues between the two of us. I've always been under the assumption that Black Cat and Spider-Man have somewhat of a love-hate relationship, but it's mostly a Batman and Catwoman situation and not a random boss fight with no reason as to why situation. This fight is easily one of the worst ones in the game, as Black Cat allows you to get a few hits in before she teleports across the map and leaves you stuck trying to find out where she went. If you want to hail in between these mini-fights, well, you can't, because she'll surprise attack you automatically and stop you mid-animation. She's not even there and she just teleports through the wall, bro. What is that? How is that fair? But the real issue here is that once the fight ends... Okay, lovers quarrel. What an awful fight. Genuinely dreadful.
I did it for you, so I'd be like you, so we could be together.
What?
I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything.
Hey, yo.
I'm not interested in your face, just your lips.
I can get you help.
Bro's fumbling so bad.
Maybe someday we can get to know each other like...
How are we actually fumbling this, bro?
I don't want to be normal people. Run away with me. We'll go somewhere exotic.
Yes.
With our power, we can
anything for you, Black Cat. Black Cat jumps off into the night, never to be seen again. In the space of a single mission, she entered and left without really adding anything useful to the overall story. In other words, an Instagram reel. That's going to be the end of her storyline too, because that was a trophy pop. So we basically just ran after her, defeated her, but then didn't really defeat her anyway. And now we're probably never going to see her again. I hope you understand what I'm saying, that Loki just was a point in this section. Hello, Harry Osborn. What are you saying, just looking into some buildings? Yeah. My, that window is very fascinating. And the way it just looks like a square. Harry lets us know that Fisk is paying Kraven through the task force, which basically means Fisk hired Kraven to try and lead us to the Carnage Killer. It also turns out that Fisk is the one targeting Spider-Man with the task force, and Harry is kind of there, funding it all without realizing. All of this points to Fisk being a major villain, and it feels like we're finally building up to something larger than a one-and-done boss fight. With our newly found knowledge, we head to Kraven's penthouse to try and stop someone we thought was a great friend, only to find out he's been tipped off and is already gone. Spider-Man. Holy, that's crazy.
He was gonna kill me and stuff me like a trophy. All this time he's been studying me.
What the hell? No.
How best Satiire?
You're a fake. A coward.
You're a fraud.
What's your idea of a fair hunt?
The antidote I gave you should remove all effects of the tranquilizer.
Okay, so now we beat Kraven, get a trophy for Kraven, and then probably never see him again. Do you know what I mean? And that is exactly what happens. Kraven's fight follows the same formula as Black Cat's, where you're able to get a few hits in before he fucks off into the middle of nowhere, and you have to find him to continue. It's pretty much just a reskinned, half-assed ending to a character we've known for most of the game. Most engaging fight of all time. Alright, bro. Help! Every time you find Kraven, the game replays the same animation of Spider-Man dragging him down to the ground. What the fuck is happening? It's like that one Mindjack fight where you just get like blinded for no reason.
There is no escape.
Yeah. Fall back right to the same tree again. What is this fight, bro? No. That might be the worst fight of the entire game, to be honest.
I watch no one's eyes. Why can't they all be...
The Hunter hunted. Okay. I guess.
He has a Telec 4566 security system, and I know the passwords.
Well, you get a gold star.
Draw me a map.
Knowing his specific model of security cameras is more or less the only info we get here, because up next is a 1v1 against the man himself.
Smells like sweaty fat guys and burritos in here.
Oh, burritos, that could go hard. Taco Bell burrito, yeah, like the volcano burrito. Oh my god, that is so good.
Well, if it isn't the Kingpin. Catchy name, but I have to say, you look more like a bowling ball than a pin.
For what is essentially the most hyped up fight of the game, it's not much better than the two before it. Hitting Fisk with a seismic blast causes him to crash into a wall, which gives you a window to get a few hits in, and that's it. The most important fight of the game is once again a bunch of random filler between the 5 punches you can land. Spider-Man also seems to think the funniest thing in the world is shouting a bunch of fat jokes towards the most powerful guy in the city.
You're so fat, when you wear a yellow raincoat, people yell, "Taxi!" You're so fat I could have you arrested for 10 pounds of crack.
Okay, mate, it was funny like once, and even that was barely even funny.
You're so fat.
Okay, shut up, man. You are under arrest. Yeah, it was a terrible fight. They're all just the same shit, repeating the same thing over and over and over again just to get the health down.
This is not an action film, boy. Just because you're young does not mean you can hack my security and gain access.
Are you just sitting there letting it?
How are you doing that?
Just accepting it.
Underestimated who?
Stop that! I demand you stop!
Moving on to our third boss fight in 3 missions, Electro is a natural choice, and the only choice really for an Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie game. They clearly knew this as well, because it's the only fight so far that's had more than 3 seconds of thought put behind it. Nah, it's kind of hard actually, like the whole city's blacked out. This is like bar for bar the movie, so they're following the movie on some parts, but then on the rest of the entire game they just haven't been bothered. Defeat Electro. We're just going from boss to boss, bro. Being able to swing around the city, fighting Electro in different locations and on a scale of this size is very cool. And it's unfortunate that the rest of this game didn't follow suit. I can only assume that this boss fight was one of the first ones created. They already had the world and most of the assets built from the first game, so it's not really a reach to say that they ran out of time towards the end and cut corners on every other fight to pad the game out. There's a lot of variety going on with the scenery, and like there's enough difference while kind of keeping it the same where I could call this actually probably the best fight in the game so far. Oh. No way, right into the ground.
What he said about Ravencroft is true. I've got to shut that.
Ah, it's not like you didn't just murder the guy. What's going on?
He was running for my papa.
Is that a trophy? Yeah, switch off. It's taking out all these bosses. What even is left me? After this fight, Harry Osborn takes a dose of something he definitely shouldn't have done, and Carnage breaks out of Ravencroft. What the hell? Oh. How are you actually spoiling that? Like, I guess there was a little indication that maybe you would turn into Green Goblin, but that is atrocious. I wonder what we're going to go up against now. What's so confusing about this is that we never see Harry transform, and to be honest, he's more or less been a side character this entire time. If you want to count Black Cat's fight as well, we've now had 5 fights back to back. Each one comes and goes within the same mission, each one never gets brought up again past that mission, and each one, other than Fisk's, has basically had no build-up whatsoever. Yeah, I feel like the start was pretty solid, and then we've got to the end of the game and it's just like, how many bosses can we chuck in a row? Right at the very last second, like, it just lost complete vision of this game. Green Goblin's fight isn't terrible, and it's very clear that, like Electro's, it was one of the first ones they decided to focus on. The first phase has us on top of this building, chucking pumpkin bombs back at him to get a few hits in. After the halfway point, you jump on his glider and fly about the map, pushing his face into buildings, which I believe is just a visual loading screen. Green Goblin barely takes any damage regardless of how many times you smack his face against a solid brick, and it goes on like this for a solid minute. Little loading screen to get to the next section, yeah. What actually, what is the point in this? I'm so confused, he's losing literally no health. And when we return back to the same building, we hit him with the Spider-Man 1 death scene to wrap it all up. Oh, that's a little throwback to the first film. Spider-Man has some final words to say, and it's a shame that no one will ever know what he said. because Green Goblin's moaning has been turned up by 20 decibels.
Keep fighting for yourself. You owe it to them. You're gonna answer for your mistakes and do whatever you can to make up for
I can't even hear what Spider-Man's saying, bro.
the greatest man I ever knew. Tom.
All I'm hearing is, oh. Maximum carnage. Okay, W spoilers again. So the last like 6 missions has been like boss fight, boss fight, boss fight, boss fight. No room for breathing. It just chucked as many as they could in. I feel if you cut the game from us trapping the Carnage Killer to us here about to take him out and then showed it to someone that's never played the game before, they'd probably assume that it was part of the same mission. And that alone proves how much time has been wasted here. I can see why it's been reviewed so poorly, because they really have it just feels rushed. To answer the question at the start of like, how can you make a bad Spider-Man game? But this is low-key it. Like, you don't need that many bosses and you don't need them to be so close together to begin with. And if you're going to chuck so many bosses in the game, at least have it make sense and have them tie into each other. Like, where has Black Cat been mentioned at all throughout this entire thing? That she hasn't. Whereas Shocker, or whatever the guy's name is, they're just chucking him in. I do have a white peach Red Bull, something different. You hear the crack? The final mission has us at what I believe is Ravencroft, trying to stop Kraven from spreading his symbiote to the entire facility. Pause. The enemies you encounter are very cool, and making your way through the prison, saving innocent civilians, and essentially saving the one guy that gave Cassidy carnage in the first place could almost be considered a boss fight build-up, until you progress about 5 minutes, and what do you know, here's Carnage. Cassidy.
Cassidy! That's as far as you go.
Was that it? Was that the final fight of the game?
Talk me out of it.
Surely not. Oh, let's fucking go. Carnage has one weakness, and that is fire. You wouldn't know that though, because every time you deal enough damage, he jumps right above the fire and gives you a free shot to drag him to his death. Easiest boss in my life, mate.
Stop people like you.
Superhero, oh, this is all the difficult ones. Okay. What a flipping game.
Please just let me die.
What a flipping game.
The answer, Cletus. None of us are gonna find any answers here.
There was a part of me still hoping for a conclusion in the final cutscene, maybe showing Manhattan is no longer under threat from the task force, or that certain enemies are now in jail. But all we get is a final cutscene with Stan Lee and Peter yapping about Uncle Ben.
Your uncle knew what a tough place the world could be. He knew that it needs heroes. And hey, take it from me, you are one of those heroes. Nuff said. Nuff said.
Best not be the end of the game. There best be some conclusion. Or something. Okay. We never find out what happened to Shocker, where Black Cat went, or if Whitney Chang is still stuck on top of that building. There is nothing wrapping this game up and fixing all the loose ties it created, which just goes to show how much they actually cared about this story. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. The first half of the game I thought was alright. I was getting quite used to the swinging and stuff like that, but then like the last 7 missions was basically just miscellaneous quests to defeat a boss. Miscellaneous quests to defeat a boss. And it was just like boss, 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 boss. No correlation to the movie. And they're just chucking anyone they can in the game. Even just that final mission then. Okay, cool, we killed him. Let's just teleport to Stan Lee's comic shop. It's just such a pointless game. In true Marvel fashion, we get a post-credit scene with Fisk and a soft launch of Chameleon. What the hell?
Now, the real work begins.
I mean, all that's really doing is introducing more fucking slot bosses anyway. Oh. Know your enemies. Time for the cleanup, I guess. The cleanup grind is about as boring as the story itself. While there's somewhat of a variety here, the only fun to be had is experiencing a new collectible type for the first time. A good example of this is the Trophy Reporter, as it requires you to take 30 pictures around the map. Instead of each one being somewhat unique, it's entirely focused on the Carnage Killer graffiti.
Herb, my real
sicko son.
This detective's laptop, which is the exact same car and officer model dotted around the map.
Very interesting.
And also these men in suits, which again are the same player models randomly dotted around the map.
Busted.
Oh, special agent. And then we'll just... Oh, reporter as well? This is true for everything else as well. Each crime type is okay, but doing 10 of each is a major flashback to Marvel's Spider-Man post-game cleanup. The hideouts are pretty much the exact same experience as when we got the Miles Morales suit in the story. And the only thing I actually enjoyed here were the races, because you're racing around different environments with each one feeling somewhat unique. But it's not the open world that turns this 15-hour platinum into a 25-hour snooze fest. As for that, we have these two trophies to thank. In the corner of Stanley's comic book shop is a little arcade machine that nobody in the history of this game would ever come back to unless you were trying to get this platinum. Because why would you? There's 12 combat challenges at 3 waves each, and not a single combat challenge rewards you with anything. You can't earn XP, you can't increase your stats, and all you're doing is defeating waves and waves of the same enemy types in a very dark room. Oh, 500 enemies, okay. But if you're trying to go for the platinum, then the trophy Luchador has you covered because it forces you to beat every single challenge. In other words, there's a game mode hidden away in an arcade machine that nobody knows about, with the sole purpose being to extend the runtime of this platinum. Like, what the actual fuck? Help. Help me. Given that it's entirely combat related, a few combat trophies can be earned here, like can't hit me for 30 multi-dodges. Nice. And I'm on a roll for achieving a combo of 42. Oh, I got this, I got this, I got this. Yes. Ooh, that is all the miscellaneous trophies done, I think. As you progress through these challenges, the difficulty starts to ramp up a bit. Enemies are given guns, EMP blasters, and some get placed behind invisible walls so that you can't even take them down. It just became this mess of like, how many enemies can we squeeze in one area for the player to take down? And the final challenge pretty much sums up what I mean. You know this shit's about to be the most unfair, craziest fight of all time. What am I even looking at right now? I literally cannot understand what I'm doing. I'm just relying on like my spidey sense to tell me when something's about to hit me. That's all I'm doing. This guy's actually shooting me and I can't grab it. He's physically out of bounds. Like, how is that fair? Locked, 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 locked. I'm fucking locked. I'm locked. Last guy, last guy, last guy, last guy, last guy. Let's actually go. Okay. The only thing I believe that is standing between us and this plat is a single trophy. And that trophy is Ultimate Spider-Man. To upgrade every suit in the game, the process is simple. Use a suit until it's max level and then return to Aunt May's house to swap it out for a new one. Except I did this and upgraded a total of 2 suits. The XP in this game is terrible, and the only way you would ever upgrade all 13 suits is by replaying the story a total of 6 times. And that is just 6 times too many. Luckily, there is another way. By loading up the final mission, you can reach this checkpoint just before a massive group of enemies. Taking them all out rewards you with around 2000 XP, and you can basically rinse and repeat this for as long as you wish by restarting the checkpoint. Each suit still takes around half an hour, but it is so much faster than doing anything else, and is what I did for the next few play sessions. Watched Polar Express today. I don't think it's aged as well as I thought it did. The animation is definitely from its time. I just drank a Monster. I didn't get the pop on screen, unfortunately, but shout out Triple PV as well. He did this shit in like 24 hours. This particular grind, like I know for a fact, when I did that Deadpool Wolverine one, the later half of the grind, I was just cooked. And to have something like this, where you're just doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, like if you're 24 hours deep into a grind, I would just fall asleep in my chair. Look, he just fell asleep there. How many more suits have we got? 6, but one of them is over 5, so like 4.5. Hope everyone had a good Christmas break as well. I don't know when this will be out, probably like February or something. As I started to reach the end of this insanely long grind, I noticed that the amount of XP I was getting per run was slowly going down. Instead of 2.3k, I was now only getting between 1.3 to 1.5, which is a massive difference and pretty much doubled the amount of time each suit was gonna take. Like 1.3, like what do you actually fucking mean? It's making these last few suits pretty long. This is the last one anyway, so we're almost there, we're almost there. It is time, finally. I am probably a few hits away from the platinum. 10 hours plus of just doing the same loop constantly over and over again. Okay, there we go. That's the plot. Let's go, Ultimate Spider-Man. Does everything a spider can. Fire. Should this game have been delisted? I definitely think so. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the perfect example of why movie tie-ins no longer really exist. It's the perfect IP with a decent amount of hype that suffered from insane crunch times and a terrible execution. One thing it did do though is make Activision a shit ton of money. In 1984, a little movie called Ghostbusters entered theaters on a $30 million budget and quickly became an overnight success. From the Ghostbusters song to the TV adverts, it was everywhere. And it's no surprise that it went on to gross $295 million, that in today's money may as well make it a $1 billion movie. In one single film, a new IP was born, and Columbia Pictures literally had a goldmine. 1989 would see the second entry that most people argue was a bit weaker, but still went on to do very respectable numbers. If anything, it was looking like the Ghostbusters franchise was about to become an unlimited money glitch, until everything went silent. For almost 25 years, Ghostbusters 3 was stuck in development hell. Bill Murray didn't want to return for a third movie. The script kept getting constant rewrites and passed on to different studios. In the end, the focus shifted to a Ghostbusters reboot. The script could be anything, the characters could have any backstory, and the universe could be reset. It was, on paper, the best way to bring back this beloved franchise after such a long wait. But as we know, this didn't end up being the case. Not only did the film somehow cost $144 million to make, but it was nothing like the original two films. It was so universally hated that the next film, Ghostbusters Afterlife, completely ignores its existence and went back to the original film's storyline instead. So why are we talking about Ghostbusters lore in a bad game video? Well, alongside this terrible reboot lies an equally terrible cash grab by, of course, the main publisher of today's video. Ghostbusters 2016 has nothing to do with the movie, has none of the characters from the movie, and the developers behind the incredible experience shut down 72 hours after release. Looking at the reviews, Twinfinite said, "The scariest thing about Ghostbusters is the fact we have to pay actual money for this." With Gameblog also stating, "If you search for cash grab on Google Images, chances are you'll find a picture of Activision's Ghostbusters." It's pretty clear we're heading into the worst delisted game of the bunch. But what would a Satiire video be if we didn't do exactly that? Well, this is copying. Give you guys a little monster crack. Oh my god, that actually was crazy. Did you hear that? Of course you heard that. What am I talking about? I went to watch Lord of the Rings trilogy in cinema the other day. Fucking peak. Like, actually really good. First time I ever watched it was obviously when I was younger, but then when I truly watched it was like in September. I was on a plane and they have those like pull-out screens in it, and you have like the really old free headphones that you get. I watched basically the best trilogy of all time in like the worst possible way. So to watch it now in cinema, full cinema as well, by the way, everyone was cheering, everyone was laughing at the jokes and shit. Like, it was actually crazy, man. What am I waffling about? I'm just telling you guys my life. All right, let's start this game. Game mode slop cutscenes. Oh no, we got real cutscenes.
Man, Aaron and Abby are my heroes. They believed in the existence of the paranormal when it wasn't even cool.
Ditto. Before meeting those ladies, I only had myself to look up to. Check this photo they just sent.
Holy trap. I recognize.
Holy crap. The game starts out with the only animated cutscene we see until the very end, explaining absolutely nothing and setting us up for one of the worst platinum experiences of my life. We're chucked into this FaceTime mission thing that happens at the start of every mission, and it's literally a PNG on your screen while these guys yap in your ear. All the budget essentially went to the cutscenes, if we're being real. I can imagine this is pretty much the whole game. Odd cutscene here and there, but for the most part we're just staring at a screen. 20 hours for this plat, by the way. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Before we start the best game of all time, I want to take you back to the release of the film. Being gone almost 30 years, marketing was a big factor to the return of the franchise. The ecto-cooler flavor of High C made a comeback after being discontinued in 1997. Twinkies had a lime flavor, Wayback Burger had a whole meal. But what we're most interested in here is the Papa John's promotion. For $12, you would get an extra large pepperoni pizza and a drink. There was a gift card, an entire commercial, and custom pizza boxes designed entirely to promote the film. So you might be wondering, what am I actually waffling about? Well, inside the Ghostbusters game, you have the ability to enter a code. For over 2 years, this feature served no purpose, as no codes were ever released, since the developers basically got spawn killed. But thanks to the Twitter user Ghoul Gurley, it was revealed that the whole reason this feature exists is to enter the code PAPA. Yeah, so you're not even meant to be able to see these. I think that's kind of wicked. The fact this code still works and that the code feature in general was left in the game says a lot about how close this promotion was to being a reality. Who knows why Papa John's pulled out last minute, but if I had to guess, it was because this game is fucking terrible. Hey, in your neighborhood. Alright, let's play as the Papa John's guy. Might have already made the game 10 times better. Ghostbusters at its core is a twin-stick shooter. You follow a set route throughout the level, killing enemies as you go, while earning enough points overall to get a high score. I wish I was oversimplifying this, but that is genuinely the gameplay loop for 35 hours straight. This has got like Enchanted Portals music. It's like the exact same thing. Jump scare? Halfway through this level, we get our first collectible. These are placed in hidden areas and rooms of the main path, but given the fact the main path is all you can really do, these hidden rooms are not very hidden. It's low-key like Luigi's Mansion if you don't have a Switch, mate. Whoa, it's like Beauty and the Beast. Be our guest, be our guest. The final thing this tutorial shows us is how to use the proton beam. After getting the boss down to a low enough health, I'm taking like no damage, I'm just standing still. You get the option to trap it by moving the analog stick around a few times and spamming X to get a point bonus. It's an okay way to capture ghosts, but it's also the only way, and becomes one of the worst things about this game.
King of the Ghost World.
That's me, King of the Ghost World. Ghosts are real. I busted 54 times. Our entire team busted 147 times. You might be sat here wondering, Satiire mate, this doesn't look that bad. How can the Platinum take 35 hours when all you're doing is running about shooting ghosts? And while that is somewhat true, it's these two trophies that turn a generic cash grab experience into a turbo level grind that will go on to haunt me for the rest of my life. The main idea behind Ghostbusters is that you can play locally with up to 4 people and run about the levels, doing nothing with a group of friends. Because they focus so much on this co-op aspect, some random guy in the dev team thought it was a brilliant idea to lock XP gain behind a connected controller. It doesn't matter how much XP the AI earn on your run, if it's not a real person controlling that character, the XP does not count. And for these two trophies, we need to reach level 20 on every character and also unlock every skill point in the game. So playing on my own requires the use of 4 controllers, as you can connect the other 3 right at the end to bank the remaining points. This method is slower than playing with 4 people sat in my bedroom, but I couldn't convince anyone to waste their time playing such a terrible game.
Some EMF interference. Is she on the line?
Is she on the line, bro? Freaky ghost! Better go! Ghostbusters! This hub area with the bouncing car lets us know that there's 6 locations in the game, and while these locations do have missions inside of them, it becomes very clear that all they did was create 1 level per location, split them up, and then add a stupid amount of enemies into each one to drag out the overall playtime. I wouldn't be surprised if they also did this as a way to clickbait potential buyers into thinking the game is full of content, when in actual fact, it is no different than chucking 40 quid in the bin. Imagine being like the avid Ghostbuster fan, yeah, you waited like 30 years for a new film. Not only is it a reboot that has nothing to do with the original thing anyway, but then you also so stoked that you want to play a game related to the movie to find out that all it is just a game mill slop and it's £40. This had to have been the worst time to be a Ghostbusters fan ever. After you played the first mission in a location, you've seen all there is to do. You've seen all the assets, all the enemy types, and you may as well just AFK the 30 minutes it takes to get through a level. Yeah, 30 fucking minutes. A few of the later levels even go as high as 45. And like, what compelled you to make a single Ghostbusters level longer than the final mission in GTA 5? On top of all of this, the levels just aren't even hard. Everyone has unlimited ammo, and the AI on your team revives you instantly. Nah, this is actually so dead, bro. Intro mission was like 5 seconds, and I'm like, oh yeah, this won't be that bad. First mission in the game's like 20 minutes, mate, just doing this. Reaching the end of this first mission brings us to the boss fight. And would you be surprised if I told you that these bosses aren't new and have been killed multiple times throughout the level already? Oh my god, it's the same boss we just did already. Like, oh my god, it's the same boss we just did already again. Let's see then how they introduce us to the next area of the exact same level, essentially. Decrease heat, yes please. Oh, shiny new toy. Oh, so did we not even get like a cutscene or anything? And now we just get another level in the same level. Oh, way. This actually might just be the same level again, I can't even lie. Chucking us into the next mission with no objective is exactly why I believe these were once part of the same mission. The bosses being nothing more than reused character models kind of confirms this as well, because it's almost like they found a midway point and had to do something to make it feel like the end of a level. Right, the problem is, yeah, if the developers that made this game were that much in debt or that close to shutting their doors forever, was this intentionally bad, or was this like, did they actually try here? And I'm not trying to be rude. I can't tell, because it's clearly a cash grab from Activision's side. They definitely published this because they knew it was going to make money. From the actual developer's point of view, like, surely you wouldn't make something intentionally bad when you're that close to like going bankrupt. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's such a weird business practice. Looking a bit more into this, Fireforge, the studio behind the game, were allegedly $12 million in debt. They were contracted to work on a game published by Razer, of all companies, codenamed Zeus, and also a second game funded by Tencent, codenamed Atlas. Razer sued Fireforge because they claimed the money given was used to work on Atlas instead of Zeus, essentially paying for another game's development. I can't really figure out where Ghostbusters falls into all of this, but I would imagine they took the publishing deal from Activision as a last-ditch attempt to recoup some of the costs and continue their progress on more important projects. This would explain why Ghostbusters has absolutely nothing going on and why the entire development cycle took less than 8 months from start to finish. Okay, literally just zoned out. I don't know if like when you're driving or whatever kind of thing where you just zone out, that's literally what has happened. Game is so easy, I just forgot what I was even doing. Actually AFK in real life. The final boss of the first location is nothing more than a bullet sponge with constant enemies trying to take you down. The actual boss does minimal damage and kind of just sits in the middle doing absolutely nothing. What a terrible fucking boss. Life's a witch. God, I level up again, but level 20 is actually nuts, man. Might even make it through the whole game without maxing out a character once. I just don't get why it doesn't level up these other guys as well. Or at the very least, if you're telling me how much Ecto I've earned overall, I just give it all to me, do you know what I mean? But then you're counting it as well, because it says I've earned 500k overall. That's just a waste of time. And I've busted 247 times. Blah. Lou's Cemetery serves as the main blueprint for the rest of the game. The environment and character models change with each location, but at its core, nothing new is happening. There are no new enemies, no new mini-bosses, and the final boss of the location, you know, the one you devote almost an hour and a half of your life working towards, usually sits there AFK while the small enemies deal all the damage. It reminds me of a video I watched a while back from a YouTuber called Kong, where they said this.
The way I see it, these games are like legal scams. They know what they're doing, Game Mill does not give a damn about the quality, and is just trying to make a quick buck by obnoxiously pricing objectively low quality titles simply due to the fact the game is about a recognizable franchise.
Obviously, we aren't playing a Game Mill game, but the statement holds true for this game, and to be honest, most of Activision's games as well. Ghostbusters 2016 is a legal scam, as there would have been people grabbing this on release just to find out there's fuck all to do. It's one of the worst PS4 games ever made, and their 40 quid is no longer in their bank account. How much of the mission have I got left, mate? Oh my god! How long have we been clipping this one mission for? 35 minutes. I feel like all we've done this mission is the exact same thing. Very much regretting starting this now. It's just the same boss again. And it's the same books. It's the same boss and it's the same books. The Papa John's promotion probably didn't go through because they tried playing the game and they realized how fucking terrible it was. I ended off this snooze fest level by connecting my other controllers to bank a few points and earn a few trophies. No! What do the books even have to do? Oh my god. A shocking development. To To save you all the pain of watching paint dry, let's just skip to Queen Charlotte, by far the worst location of the game. It's based on the interior of a boat, but they've used this ugly purple and red carpet throughout the entire thing. Every room and corridor looks the exact same, and it's impossible to remember where you've been and where you haven't. PS5 Trophies has done as good of a job as he can, I would say, at documenting where these collectibles are, but everything just looks the exact same. He could be like, oh, down this corridor to the right, and I could probably name you 5 different locations that look the exact same. It almost feels like they chucked all the assets through a randomizer and called it a day. There's sofas facing the wrong way, beds in the middle of empty rooms, and out of bounds, I found this one bedroom with a lamppost in the middle surrounded by a bunch of trees. And a bed. Oh, that's just a bedroom, yeah. What? On top of this, there seems to be an increased spawn rate for the filler mini-bosses, as every corner you turn, there's not 1, but 2 or 3 that stunt your progress until you take them out. This is what I mean about like artificially increasing the playtime of the game. Like you're just spawning so many of these big fucking bosses in that take so long to kill and they're not even hard. It's just literally to waste time, that's all it is. Yes. Operation... Level 10. 42 minutes, by the way. What kind of poor guy is doing this? Me. If someone bought this on release to have a bit of fun without caring about the trophies, their time with the game would pretty much be over. But there is one final mission, one more chance to leave a lasting impression on the people that paid actual hard-earned money for this experience. Who knows, maybe after selling hours of your life to Activision, the final boss might be a refund button. Or even better, it could be a compilation of every single boss we've defeated in the game, because why would they dedicate more time and energy into creating something new when nobody was going to reach the final mission anyways? How is this even real, man? There comes a point where this is actually too much, like even for me. This is like low-key dreadful, horrible ending to the game. At this rate, I doubt there's even going to be a cutscene. Might just like fade to black. Just imagine for a second, yeah, you're not going for the platinum. You're playing this game for fun, and this is all you're doing. All the boss fights are ripped straight from their missions. The arena we're fighting in doesn't change once. And to be honest, it's such a low-effort way to finish the game off that I'm surprised Activision didn't just cancel the project and take a loss. No way we actually get a real boss. And while the character design is very cool, the fight is nothing more than sitting in this corner for 6 minutes, holding R2 while a boss attacks your teammates. Like, how are you going to the effort of creating a whole new boss after not giving a fuck the entire game, just to prove that you still don't give a fuck? I feel so bad for anyone that genuinely got this for whatever, like Christmas birthday, suffered through the entire game, suffered through that terrible pre-boss section just to get to this, and this is what you're doing. I've been at this for like 3 minutes already, and I'm not even halfway. Halfway, pretty much 4 minutes in, so 8-minute boss fight, and this is all I'm doing. You can tell as well, like it was never about making the boss hard, or it was never about, you know, whatever. It was purely about making it as long as it possibly can. That was a 6-minute fight.
Come to mama.
Oh my god, animated cutscene, no way.
What do we do now? What else? A ridiculous-looking victory jump and then freeze.
And that's your 40 quid down the drain. That is so bad. That's actually terrible. You expect this from a PS3 game, do you know what I mean? It's easily the worst game of this entire bunch. Being done with this game was the least of my worries, as now the actual grind begins. 7 trophies, ranging from something simple like completing a remix level to something we already know is gonna take hours. I started by replaying a few of the levels I failed to get A rank on. As for the trophy I Love This Town, we need to A rank every normal level and every remix one. Okay, so are the remixes just like more levels of the same thing? Like this is the same area. Have we not done this mission before? I couldn't even tell you if it's the same one. They're all the same thing. This is a bridge, I'm pretty sure, and it leads it over. And then on the other side there was a collectible. No, yeah, the collectible was in here. They've actually just called it a remix level, and then we're just playing the same thing again. I still don't know what the point in these remix levels are, and the only possible explanation is that they wanted to promote the game as having a certain amount of levels, so they disguised levels we've already done as remix ones in the hopes that nobody would really notice. Is there a potential that... No, yeah, Marie's Matrix. What the fuck? Unless maybe after this boss, something else happens. I'm actually baffled. That's insane. Cool. Thanks for the trophy, but that's actually insane. I know I joke that Activision is this big evil corporation, but this is by far the best example of that being the case. Any moment during this 8-month development cycle, they could have scrapped the entire thing. They could have done a background check on Fireforge Games, or at the very least, they could have just played the fucking game. Nobody behind this game actually cared one bit, and it just so happens that they didn't care about trophy hunters either, because after reaching level 20 on my first character... Nice, yeah. Oh, Ghostbuster General. Oh. Level 21. I was met with a turbo level heartbreak. Reaching level 20 was the goal from the very start because of these 2 trophies, and I guess it was naive of me to assume that all the upgrade points would be earned along the way too. No, are you joking? That means level 20 isn't the last level. Like, I need level 20 for the level 20 characters, but to fully upgrade every character, I need to go further than 20 anyway. Oh my god, bro. It's low-key turbo all over again. Realizing this put me in a very tough spot mentally, because the main drive to finishing these 35-minute missions was the fact I was getting closer and closer to what I thought was the final level. Having that goal ripped from right beneath me kind of left me with nothing to work towards. Like, obviously the platinum is the overall goal, but when you're so deep in a game that has nothing going on, these little mini goals that you set yourself are the only way to see it through. After forcing my way through the last remix levels... Oh, yes. I love this town. Yippee! And spending 40 minutes on this boat level trying to find the last collectible. Oh, let's go. Finally, I've been trying to find this hallway for ages. Yippee! I couldn't bear the thought of pressing the X button once again to chuck away 35 minutes of my life. So I went to bed. I've done a little bit of research on PlayStation trophies. Apparently the max level is level 30, so we're not that far off main character. I've been working on trophies, so I kind of like, the grind's been shit, but there's been something to work towards, do you know what I mean? Now I gotta do a few more 40-minute missions to even get this guy to level 30, and then, you know, God forbid how many fucking ones I gotta do for these guys. I don't even think we've scratched the surface of how long this game's gonna be. I am hoping to get this done today, 6 p.m. I'm willing to stay up until like 5 in the morning or whatever. So it really depends on where my head's at. I know it sounds dumb, but there really is only so much you can play of this game, because it is constantly the same stuff, and it's more like a mental thing than anything. And a mental thing it was, with the only trophies left being level related. All that was left to do was replay the longest mission in the game for at least 10 to 15 hours. Just at level 30, max level. That means we should get our trophy now, I think. Yeah, 4 skill points. Spend. Nice. Busting makes me feel good. Okay. Each replay was the same ecto spots, the same enemy spawns, the same bosses in the same rooms, and there's only so many hours you can sit here watching the screen doing nothing else with your life before the burnout becomes real and it starts to feel like a self-inflicted torture method. Nothing is changing. It's just the same enemies every time. It's the same levels every time. It's the same process every time. It has to be this mission because it gets the most XP. So I'm just rinsing and rinsing and rinsing and rinsing. And it takes so fucking long. 2 of these missions, yeah, is essentially 2 hours. I could have gone for a meal. I could have gone to the gym, gone for a walk, gone to the cinema. There is no trade for your time here. I don't know how much I've got left of this in me. You might not even see this shit until like March. I can't even lie. Oh, I need a break. So a break is what I took, and in doing so, realized that a lot of the recent players on PSN profiles have dropped this game entirely, and this showed me that I'm not going insane. Running around for hours on end is terrible, and multiple people clearly feel the same way. It was specifically this post by DiscDoc that explained the heartsink of learning level 20 wasn't the last one, that knocked me out of this bubble I was in. The grind is shit, that is a fact, but I've managed to stick it out long enough that I may as well power through this final stretch. Hopping back on, my approach shifted. 45 minutes on a single level with no real dopamine is a trap, but 25 minutes on a level that gets a little bit less XP means you finish it faster, see yourself level up quicker, and ultimately feels like you're making more progress even though you're not. And it wasn't long before every character was at level 20. No way. I can finish in 20 minutes. In my brain, I'm like, okay, I've actually made progress within a 20-minute time span instead of spending basically an hour to then get that same feeling. So it's more of like a dopamine, like my brain neurons activating, which is getting me through. It sounds like insane, but that's the levels we're at. This game is so deprived of any content that I'm trying to find positives just to keep me going. And it's working. It is actually kind of working. With the mission being a lot shorter now, I found myself learning the route without even realizing. I knew the enemy spawns, the ecto spots, and I got so good at getting this mission down that I was finally able to multitask, grinding points and watching YouTube, which as we all know is the ultimate combo. Oh, let's go, level 30. That's 2 out of 4.
You're just always tired, like it's not even too late and I'm just knackered.
Oh, we're actually there. 24k XP, that's all we need. At long flipping last, we are there. That's nuts. I didn't ever think this day was going to come. To get this last ecto for the platinum, I chose to bring it back to the first level of the game. Not only is this the fastest one, but it also felt like a big full circle moment, going back to the start after experiencing one of the worst games of my life. I'm happy I stuck through it. There was a part of me that honestly wanted to give up, especially in the depths of it where there was no end in sight. That I really did feel like it was going to go on forever. It was either 27k or it was like 23. Maybe we need to go again. Oh, 24, 6, 7. Damn, 1,100 off. Okay, well, that's the plat. I feel so free. I actually feel like a massive weight has just been lifted off my shoulders knowing that this is done. I can probably just speed through this actually. I don't even need to be killing these guys. I'm just playing the game now, do you know what I mean? Yeah, that guy gets it. Yes, clap away. For I will never see your faces ever again. Yes! Okay, this is it. This is flipping it. Back off, man. I'm a scientist. Mass hysteria. Like, I'm free, bro. If I wanted to, I could just go to bed right now. I actually don't have Ghostbusters controlling my life. Honest opinions on this game is that it is the worst PS4 game I've ever played. It is the biggest nothing burger, waste of time. It was not even made by Game Mill. Activision, low-key, are the real slot masters. Okay. When I played Turbo last year, I never expected to come across another game that would rival the same feeling of time waste, mental struggle, and emptiness that I felt. But Ghostbusters is that game. It was born from greed, lack of care, and does the absolute bare minimum to be considered an actual game. Did it deserve to be delisted? Of course it did. And it's a shame that we didn't get to experience a game in this video that was somewhat of an underrated gem. But there's always next time. Thank you as always for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you all relatively soon in the next one. Bye-bye!